Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Hopefully, you guys are all having a fantastic day whenever you're seeing this. And as y'all can see on screen, right, this video is basically going to be the ultimate TradingView guide. If you could, if you could, refer to this as like the TradingView cheat sheet guide, right? This is going to be that one video that hopefully provides you with a bunch of different breakthroughs when it comes to, tips and tricks, tips and, different things that you guys are actually going to be able to do on TradingView that you might not have actually been familiar with at first. Now, some of these might be obvious. Maybe you're familiar with how to remove all drawings with the click of a button, right? But for some of you guys, maybe this is something that you're just starting to get used to, right? Actually navigating and using the TradingView platform. So I think it'll be super, super beneficial overall. And I hope you guys are going to be, learning something new, at least one thing new from the call today, right? So basically, first things first, I'm not even gonna actually start and do this in order. These are just the different things that I'm gonna be going over in the video. I'm gonna pull up the TradingView Shortcuts screenshot. Now, this is something y'all are gonna wanna go ahead and take a picture of for sure. This is something that I came across probably a year into my experience actually using TradingView. And some of these are super fire when it comes to shortcuts. I don't know how well you guys can see the screenshot. Hopefully it's something that you're easily able to kind of capture. If you're watching this on your computer, you can use like the snipping tool. If you're watching it from your phone, you can just screenshot it. But it is something you can find online as well. And maybe, what I'll have is like a link to actually this picture in the description of the video or something like that. But there's a lot of different, hotkey shortcuts that you can use on TradingView that are going to be super helpful and save you a bunch of time when it comes to actually navigating the platform. So I wanted to start out with that. But with that being said, what we're going to do is kind of go through this now in order. I'm going to go ahead and pull up another chart. And for those of you guys that didn't know you could do this, right? If you have a paid version of TradingView, you can actually have multiple chart layouts. And that is one of the ones that we have in here in terms of bullet points, right? We have chart layouts. And this is something that I wanted to touch on because there's been countless times where, I've heard individuals talking about how they have to do like trading, training related calls, but they don't want to, erase their markups, right? Like you have certain markups that you want to keep on your chart. You don't necessarily want to remove. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is go to the top right corner of your TradingView chart. You'll see, I have like Don's markups. That's the current chart layout that I have. But if I press this little manage chart layouts arrow, it's going to bring down a drop down and it's going to say make a copy, rename, new chart layout, or load chart layout. So let's say I wanted to take literally the exact chart layout that I have here, right, and copy and paste it and reopen it in another tab. I can literally just go ahead and click make a copy, right, and we'll just call it, Don's markups, copy, hit save. And now it's going to load a brand new chart layout. So I can go ahead, remove everything from every single one of the currency pairs that I have on this chart, but it will not affect the other primary chart layout that I like to use the vast majority of the time. Okay, so this is huge when it comes to having like a clean chart. If you had a setup that you took throughout the week that you wanted to break down for your squad, it's the best way to go about doing that is having like another chart layout. You guys can see that I have like a bunch of different ones in here that I like to go through depending on what it is that I'm trading, what have you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull up the other chart layout here and we'll actually use this for the tutorial part of the video. Okay, so that's chart layouts, boom, done. Okay, now we'll start off kind of simple here, right? The first thing that I'm going to touch on is how to actually remove or hide all drawing tools. So if I pull up a chart like Bitcoin, where I have, an actual markup on screen here, right? I have, a couple different things that I can do to either hide all of the drawings that I have on here temporarily or completely remove them. Okay, so the first thing that I'll touch on is, hiding them temporarily. So you guys will see in the bottom left-hand side of the TradingView window, okay, there's this little eyeball looking thing, right here. And I'm annotating over it. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, if you click that, right, it's going to hide all of your drawings temporarily. So it's not deleting them, but it's hiding them so you can actually bring them back up whenever you'd like. You just go back to the eyeball, click that, boom, they're back on screen. Okay, it's great for, again, if you want to just hide them temporarily, you're able to do so, what have you. All right, now the next thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that is removing all the drawing tools at once, because sometimes it can be a bit of a pain to go through and click through all of these, markups that you have individually, right, one at a time. So a couple of things you can do. Number one, hold down the control key, click and drag across your screen. That's going to allow you to highlight more than one drawing at a time. Right, so if I just wanted to, to delete these two, this blue line here in the purple box, right, I can do that. Go ahead and press delete. Now they're gone. Okay. If I wanted to delete literally every single markup that I have, right, I'm going to come to the bottom left-hand side of the, the TradingView window, press the little garbage can here, and it's going to actually permanently remove all my markups. Everything that's on the chart that's a drawing tool will be gonzo. Okay. So those are the first two things that I wanted to touch on briefly, right? I apologize if you guys can hear the smoke alarm going off in the background. That's jokes. Next thing, okay? Let's talk about the missing favorites bar, okay? The favorites toolbar is something you'll be able to, obviously use. If you guys haven't seen the TradingView setup tutorial video, shoot me a message and I'll be able to send it your guys' way, right? But if this ever goes missing, okay, a couple of things could have happened. More than likely, this is what's happened, right? You've pressed the little star in the bottom left corner of your TradingView, and it's now just hidden. Okay, don't freak out. Odds are that's probably what's happened. You're just going to come over here, to the bottom left-hand side of your TradingView, press the little star, and you're blessed, right? It's back on screen. Super easy fix. The other thing that could have happened is you just haven't logged in to your TradingView account. One way that you can check that is by clicking the three little dashes in the top left corner here and seeing that you're actually logged into your account. Okay, relatively straightforward. Next thing, two charts on one screen. And this was a huge breakthrough that I had actually, earlier last year, closer to probably the end of last year. So it's been about a year since I've known about this. But there's a way, right, that you can actually go about looking at multiple charts on the same screen. All right, now it's only going to be the line chart, but this is something that's super, super handy when it comes to actually identifying something called divergence. All right, you guys can stay tuned for a future video on divergence, but that's something that can be super, super powerful when it comes to actually doing technical analysis, guys. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, right, let's say I pull up, something like Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD is something that I trade quite frequently. There was a fire sell setup from earlier this morning. I'm not going to go over that in the recording here. All right, but let's just use this as an example. Okay, I removed all my drawing tools. Great. Now, a correlating pair to Euro USD will be something like GBP USD. Those two pairs correlate. They kind of go hand in hand. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is come to the top middle of my TradingView window and press this little, circle with a plus sign. This is what we call the compare tool. Okay. If I click on this, it's going to allow me to input a certain symbol. So I'm going to put in GBP USD, press enter, and it's actually going to bring up, right, the GBP USD chart on the same Euro USD chart that we have up on screen. Now, again, this is just the line chart, but if I were to go ahead and, change my Euro USD chart to the line chart, now I'm able to use this and identify something that we call divergence. And it's also just something that's kind of cool. Instead of you going back and forth between TradingView tabs to look at, the difference between certain currency pairs, what have you, you can actually just do it on one screen, super, super easy. Okay. So that's, something that I had in terms of a breakthrough about a year ago. It's been, pretty revolutionary, to be honest, when it comes to my trading journey personally. And I think it'll help you guys out a lot as well. Okay. Next thing, indicators cheat sheet. All right. Now, this is a huge one. These are personally the indicators that I like to use. And if y'all know me, right, I'm not a huge fan of indicators. I'm not the one that's, got a bunch of different indicators on my chart. We trade a lot, more according to price action and understanding how the institutions are trading. And truth be told, a lot of the times institutions are not using indicators. Okay. But with that being said, there are a few that I've found to be super, super beneficial and helpful when it comes to you doing analysis and trading according to smart money concepts. Okay, so in the top left corner here, I have my indicators actually hidden, but if I press the arrow here, it'll bring down the drop down. And as of right now, most of these are hidden. Okay, but the first one that I'll show you guys, there's only a couple of them in here that I actually want to show you guys. And the first of which is actually the moon phases. Okay, so if I put on the moon phases, believe it or not, you guys, the moon has a direct impact on the market. Okay, if you don't believe me, go to the indicator section right in here, okay, and type in moon phases, right? If I type in moon phases here, right, I already have it favorited. It's one of the built-in TradingView tools. Click moon phases, guys, and literally just look at the chart. I mean, you guys can see it on screen, right? You have the I believe the full moon is the full white, and then new moon is the kind of darker, darker colored circle that we have on screen here. And you guys can see that right now we're in a new moon phase. I think the end of this month or like early next month is when we have the next full moon. I think it's, like the end of this month. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But either way, something to keep in mind when it comes to doing analysis. It's kind of cool to just look at as well. All right, the next one, huge shout out to my boy John Phibbs. All right, he went ahead and created a London and New York open indicator. Okay, and this is actually going to show you guys directly where the New York stock market, but also the London stock market actually open at. Okay, there's literally a line that shows you where the market open prices are. Okay, so if we click on the actual lines that we have here, I believe the London session is the actually, let me just take a look here and double check. So blue, right, the blue line is the London market open, right, which is at 3 a.m. and then you have red, which is going to be at 9:30. And this is something, guys, that you can actually go ahead and take some time to back test. But a lot of the times, these areas in the market will have significance. Okay, so something to keep in mind there. That's an indicator that I like to use from time to time. Hands down, my favorite, right? These two kind of go hand in hand, right? These next two that I'm going to be talking about. But you have the week and day separator, as well as the sessions indicator. Okay, both of these indicators go hand in hand, like I was saying, right? Sessions is something you can pull up on your chart and actually see, when the trading sessions are, right? You have red, which is the New York session, green, which is the London session. By default, you'll probably have yellow as well. Yellow is the Asian session or the Tokyo session. I don't really pay attention to that one too much. What I like to do is basically just edit that in the indicator settings to just show the London and New York trading sessions, right? So that's something to look into. And a lot of the times when we see major moves in the market, as a prime example with what we have on screen here, Euro USD made a massive move this morning during the overlap between the London and New York session. Right? Look at this move. Hey, that's a very significant move, right? In fact, if we measure that in terms of pips, that was a 100 pip move in a matter of a few hours during the overlap between the London and New York session. Okay, so using the sessions, indicator is pretty handy. And what goes hand in hand with that one is the week and day separator. This is one of my favorite indicators when it comes to being able to really see how the market likes to move at the beginning of the week, going into like Tuesday, Wednesday, right? And then the reversal that you'll usually get on Tuesday and Wednesday going into then the end of the week. Okay, so what we have on screen here, you guys can see is it's showing me the actual days, and then it is separated by kind of like a blue dotted line from one day to another. You guys are gonna have to mess around with the settings a little bit here. I'll pull up the settings so you guys can actually take a look at this. I turned off the week separator. It is something that you can put on. It's like the yellow. I don't know how well you guys can see that, the yellow dashed lines there. Personally, I just took that off, but it is cool to look at and kind of see the difference from one week to the next. I like to use the day separator, so I've got that selected here. I use the color blue. And then of course, I basically just changed the text color to black so it would show up on my chart with regards to each of the days throughout the week. Okay. So this is something that, again, we'll probably have future videos that you guys are going to be able to go through and actually better understand how we're using these indicators to find entries and also to find exits when it comes to getting in and, also out of the market. So stay tuned for that. But moving forward here, okay, last two things that I want to cover. All right, and these ones are pretty huge. Okay. Number one, it's the replay tool. All right, now if you guys do not have the paid version of TradingView, right, that's okay. You can actually go about creating a replay tool for yourself when it comes to something that we like to call backtesting, right? If you haven't heard about backtesting yet, I guarantee you will over the coming weeks. But what backtesting is, right, is being able to look back in time and, pretend as though it's happening in real time to identify and kind of practice your way of entering and exiting the market. Okay, so I have the paid version of TradingView, so I can use the replay toolbar, which is right here. And if I press that, I'm able to go back in time to say, the 15th of November and play things out one candle at a time, right? By clicking this, one candle at a time. Or I can just hit the play button and it's going to print all those candles as though it were happening in real time. So what I like to do, right, and this is, again, if you have the paid version of TradingView, it's definitely the best way to go about using the replay tool. But if you don't have the paid version, I'll get into different things you can do to kind of create your own replay tool as though you actually had one, even though you just have the free version of TradingView. All right, guys, rest assured you're Gucci either way. All right, but replay tool is super, super handy. I like to go to, one of the currency pairs that I like to trade, close my eyes and literally just go back in time and just click and then play things out from there and see how well I'm doing in terms of being able to identify where I'm looking to get in and out of the market. Okay, so the replay tool, super, super, super handy. If you're in the replay tool already, but you want to go somewhere different, you can click this one right here and it'll allow you to jump back or forward. Actually just backward to any time in the market. Okay, so super, super handy tool. If you do not have the paid version of TradingView, two things you can do. Number one, if you have Zoom, go ahead and have a Zoom call with yourself, grab the annotation tool, and literally just go ahead and draw a box that's going to cover half the screen. Right? Draw a box that's going to cover half your screen, just like that. Okay? Now, go back in time and pretend as though you're using the replay tool. Right? That's one of the easiest things that you can do, right? Just by using something like Zoom. And it's no different than you using the replay tool. Now, of course, I would say it is a little bit cleaner to use the replay tool, but you're, still in a position to benefit from backtesting by doing something like that. Okay? If you don't have Zoom or if you don't want to download it, one thing that you can do is grab a blank piece of paper and put it on, one half of your screen, right? And that's another great way to go about backtesting so that you're not seeing ahead into what's actually happened in price, okay? So that one's huge. And then the other thing that I was going to touch on is the TradingView Publish tool. This is the last thing I'm going to touch on. I don't want this video to be too long. We've already been going for about 10, maybe 15 minutes here. The TradingView Publish tool, guys, is revolutionary. Okay, when I say that, let me elaborate. Okay, if you guys were like me back when I first started trading, I literally despised having a trading plan where I had to write in every single trade that I took. I didn't like doing it. I'll be real. All right, there was times where I would go for months without doing it, and that was obviously reflecting in my trading, guys. Because when you don't reflect on trades that you've taken, odds are you're going to make the same mistake over and over and over again. Okay, so you want to take time to reflect. But if you don't want to write down all the trades that you're taking, that's okay, right? Because you can use the Publish tool on TradingView, and in my opinion, it's actually better than writing down all the trades that you've taken, the entries, the exit points, all of that good stuff. Okay, so let me show you guys what the Publish tool actually is. Okay, so there was a sell that we took this morning on Euro USD. All right, I'm not going to go ahead and break down how we found or identified this setup. All right, but this was, that was just a 1 to 3, but we actually took a trade that was closer to a 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. This has already happened, so I can't, show you guys what it actually would look like had I published this earlier this morning. It's all good. I'm still going to show you guys how to do this nonetheless, right? So top right corner, you'll see, let me just change the color of this here. All right, you'll see that we have the publish button. It's blue. Top right corner, you will not miss it on TradingView, right? I'm going to click on that. And in here, I'm going to title my trade idea. So I'm going to go EURUSD sell, right? You can put in a little description. What I always tell my students to do is write down the confirmations that you had present, right? So whatever your confirmation checklist is, go ahead and write down your confirmations. So maybe you had, market structure was one of your confirmations. Right? Maybe you had a break in market structure. If you know, you know. Okay? If you don't know, there'll be future videos that'll explain a little bit more about market structure. But any confirmations that you have, throw them in there, right? And you're blessed. It's something that's going to be great to reflect on, say, on the weekend. You can go back and see all the trades that you've taken, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a second here. You'll scroll down on the publish tool. You're going to have to, choose whether it was a long or short position, or if you were neutral, it doesn't even matter. In this case, it was a sell position, so a short position. You have to choose a category to actually list the trade idea or the published idea under. Usually I just choose a random one because this isn't really important. I'll just go like trend analysis, whatever. You can put in tags if you want. And I always like to just publish my ideas privately. You can choose to publish them publicly if you like. Other people are able to see the charts that you post. It's kind of cool. I just like to publish them privately. The way I see it is like my trading plan is my trading plan. It doesn't necessarily need to be shared with anybody. But you're going to click publish private idea, and it'll bring you to the actual page. Now, in this scenario, this is one that's already played out. Okay, so this won't be the best example, but if, had I actually gone through the motions and set, the published idea back here before we even got into the sell position, I'd be able to press this play button and it's going to play out the candlesticks immediately. So you'll actually see what happened with that trade. If you guys give me a second, what I'll do is I'll pause the recording and show you guys an example of one that I actually do have from before and after. It's the before and after screenshots without you having to actually, take screenshots of the charts. It's literally just using the publish tool, guys. So super, super powerful. Give me a second, I'll pull that up. All right. So on screen, guys, I've gone ahead and pulled up an example of an older one. This is actually from back in March when, we actually decided to collectively as a team start to, reinvest into the cryptocurrency space at an area of around 4,000s, right? And this is like an area that we had highlighted that we were paying attention to for quite some time. This is, again, something that I published back in March. You guys can see up in here, shows the date. Right, and if I go ahead and press this play button, it's going to load all the candlesticks afterwards, right? This is the weekly time frame, guys. Right, so since March of this year, March of 2020, to where we are right now, November of 2020, Bitcoin went from a price of around $4,000 to over $18,000, okay? Which I believe is like close to a 300% gain. I'd have to get the measurement tool out to actually show that to you guys. But this is one example. Another example would be the silver call out that we had in April, March and April of this year. This was a setup that we were looking at. This is the monthly time frame. This is something that we posted on March 16th. All right, so back in March. And if we go ahead and use, the replay tool here, press play, not replay tool, the publish tool. All right, play this out. You guys can see that price went from around $12 an ounce to right now we're sitting at around $24 an ounce. So a 100% increase in a matter of a few months. And this is like longer term, something that we're super, super bullish on. I wouldn't be surprised if silver in the next like 3 to 5 years reaches a price of like $100 per ounce of silver. So just an example of a couple published trades and kind of what that looks like when you've actually published and you're able to go back and actually see, you know, what the chart looks like after you've played out the candlesticks. Okay. But aside from that, let me just confirm that that's everything that I wanted to go over with you guys here, right, on this particular recording. All right, so that is everything that I wanted to cover for this particular video, guys. Hopefully y'all learned something new about TradingView within this video. If you guys have any sort of questions about TradingView, other tools that you think you know, would be beneficial for me to discuss in a future video, let me know in the comments section. Appreciate you guys. It's your boy Donnie Dropo signing out. We'll see you guys very, very soon in another video. Peace out.